Greetings from Pittsburgh, everybody. As promised, I am giving you a sneak preview of Book 3 of the Cathel series. It's titled The Joy Thief. To give you a little bit of background as to what's happening in The Joy Thief. The Joy Thief follows the events in Book 1, Into the Darkness. We are following Aaron and Theo as they are on their way back to the Northlands, and they are forced to stop over in a city called Eben. And unbeknownst to them, a mysterious illness is striking down the children of Eben, and so in um, in honor of Halloween, I decided to read a section where we are introduced to a character known just as the shopkeeper. It's a creepy little section, so sit back and give a listen. I'm pretty sure you don't want to watch me the entire time. So, here we go. Twilight. The sun's slow lament had started. The shopkeeper knew this without the benefit of a view outside. He felt it inside himself. The twilight was his time. He reveled alone in the power it brought him, serenaded by the mournful strains of the violin floating just behind his right shoulder. The sound resonated off the shop's wooden shelves. He let it take him home, the better parts of it, listening with his eyes closed, thin fingers entwined behind his head, just above the leather cord binding his jet black hair. His long legs rested lightly on his desk, the only other thing in his shop, besides the neat shelves of toys and curiosities. Suddenly, his reverie was interrupted by another long-awaited sensation. He was about to get a new customer. The shopkeeper opened his eyes and fixed his amethyst gaze upon the little bell that hung above the shop's door. The color of his eyes, singular to the elven race, were the only outward betrayal of his heritage. He rid himself of the delicate points on each of his ears not long after he left Alethea, all the better to blend in. The violin stopped playing and slowly drifted down to the floor. It came to rest, light as a feather, upright in the corner behind his desk. The bow came to rest against the violin, just as the shopkeeper stood up from his chair and the shop door opened, striking the little bell so that it jingled. The thin smile that the shopkeeper fixed to his face held, even in the face of the bell's desperately cheerful jingle. He hated the sound of it. For his guests, it completed the quaint ambiance of his shop. For him, it served a different, all too necessary function. Nevertheless, he hated it. A human man and a little boy entered the shop. The shopkeeper judged his age to be about 9 or 10, just right for his purposes. You could tell the boy would be an easy sell, too, by the way the boy's eyes lit up when he peered around at the shelves of toys and novelties. The shopkeeper nodded at the man accompanying the boy. He guessed by the man's vague resemblance to the boy that he was a blood relation, though not his father. The shopkeeper came out from behind the desk, his eyes focused on the boy. Looking for something in particular? The boy's attention snapped to him, and his eyes met the shopkeeper's. It's my birthday soon. My uncle said I could pick out something as a gift for myself. Ah, well, a birthday gift is special indeed. The shopkeeper noted that the boy did not look to his uncle for permission before answering. He was confident, intelligent, perfect. His gaze held the boy's, reading his wants, reading what made him happy or sad. Nothing he read from the boy was too complex or too much of a challenge. The boy would be a good match, exactly what he had been waiting for. He did not take just any child. The boy's eager smile faltered. The shopkeeper read his unease and frowned inside. Perhaps he had pushed his enchantment too far, too quickly. The last one he took had proven to be less hardy than he thought she would be. He was too eager for someone to replace her in his collection. He backed off, and the boy's unease lessened. The boy asked him, "Do you have any wooden soldiers, sir? Or maybe a magic box? I'd quite like one of those." The uncle made a sound at the mention of a magic box, and the shopkeeper looked over at him. The man grimaced ever so slightly. Perhaps a magic box sounded like it would cost more gold than he was willing to spend on his young nephew, for whom he was too lazy to pick out a gift on his own. Or perhaps he disliked magic. How dull, the shopkeeper thought to himself. The boy, however, had much more imagination in him. "I believe I have just the thing for you in my storeroom." "One moment, noble sirs," he said, directing his gaze at the uncle. The man cracked the barest hint of a smile at the noble sir's comment, his egotism showing. Simpleton. He covered his disdain with a wink directed at the boy. The boy smiled back. Yes, he would be perfect. He turned away from them toward the closed door at the back of his shop. He kept his steps relaxed, even as a familiar thrill of excitement rose up in him. The boy would really like what the shopkeeper had to show him, at least at first.